Good morning. Well, the Senate Committee on Taxes is now in order. We do have a quorum, so we'll get right to it. We have several bills again today. And with first on the docket is Senate File 416, Senator Nelson. So this is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Nelson, do you have any amendments to your bill?
Mr. Chair, I do not have any amendments.
All right. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's always good to be in front of the Tax Committee. Today I have Senate File 416, a very short but important and simple bill. It increases the K-12 tax credit, and it increases it via the phase-out amount and the income threshold. Section 1 increases the maximum amount of the K-12 credit from $1,000 to $1,500. And secondly, it increases the income threshold at which the credit begins to be phased out from $33,500 to $50,000. And then thirdly, it also increases the phase-out rate from $4 to $10 for every dollar of income over the threshold amount. The bill's effective beginning in tax year 2017. And this bill simply, as you can see, expands the credit that we currently have.
Perfectly simple.
Very simple, Mr. Chair, committee members.
Senator Nelson, do you have any testifiers?
No, Mr. Chair, I do not. I think this committee is well aware of the K-12 tax credit. Certainly, it's time that we expand that just a little bit more today.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions regarding this simple bill? Senator Senjum.
Perhaps obvious, but what drives the increase on this one? Just needs?
Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chair, Senator Senjum, I think there's several things that drive this increase request. One is that certainly it's been effective for many avenues. I do not know the exact time that it was increased, but when you realize that it starts phasing out at $33,500, and you can just compare that with many of the other areas where we either give a credit or some sort of assistance, certainly that number is significantly lower than it should be.
Good. Thank you, Senator
Thank you.
Nelson. Senator Senjum.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I guess just one clarifying question. Ms. Pollack, I don't remember when this credit was created, and do you know when it was, has it been increased since it was created? Do you know?
Mr. Chair, I'm checking on that right now. I don't think the income threshold has been increased, but I'm going to check on the credit amount, and I'll let you know in just a moment.
That's fine. We can move on and get that in a little bit when you have it. Senator Nelson, any final comments?
Well, I think it's a proven technique, something we have done before. It's just time to update it to today's needs and amounts, and I would ask for a favorable ruling from this committee and possible inclusion in the omnibus bill.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. With that, Senate File 416 will be laid over for possible inclusion. And Senator Nelson, you're up next again.
Thank you,
Senate
Mr.
File
Chair.
774.
Mr. Chair and committee, this is a very exciting bill because it deals with something that we have been talking about for so long, and that is our growing workforce shortage. And I think everyone on this committee, we have talked at some point about how apprenticeships can help with that workforce shortage. And the bill before you today is a bill dealing with an apprenticeship training facility and it's an exemption modification. I'll just tell you a little bit about what the bill does, but then mostly I want to turn it over to my testifier, who can tell you exactly the reason why this particular piece of legislation is needed. So Senate File 774, just to give you a little bit of history, under current law, buildings used for a state-approved apprenticeship program through the Department of Labor and Industry are exempt from property taxes, provided that the buildings are owned and operated by a nonprofit and participants in the program are not compensated. Qualifying property must be located in, and these are some very specific parameters in current law, must be located in Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area, comma, a city of 7,400 or more outside of that area, or in that area, or a building that was previously used as a school that was exempt from taxes payable in 2010, or it must be in a township with a population between 2,000 and 3,000. Actually, that, my friends, is one place. You know how that is when we get so many qualifiers in front of something, it usually is one place. Right now, that is Grand Lake Township in St. Louis County. And it says, the current law says that up to 5 acres of land is also exempt for qualifying property in the metro area and cities, while up to 10 areas is exempt for property in a township. And so Senate File 774 makes one small change in this criteria under which the township property may qualify by lowering the population threshold from the exemption to 1,400. And I will tell you specifically that affects Haverhill Township in Olmsted County. So those are the very technical things about what the current law is and what Senate File 774 would do, which it would just lower that population threshold for this exemption from property taxes for apprenticeship training facilities. But what's really exciting, members, is I have Mr. Pete Paris with me, the political director of the Sheet Metal Workers Local 10, who can tell you exactly why this small change is important and what it will do.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. My name is Pete Paris. I'm with the Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 10. Local 10 covers 3 states, Minnesota, North, and South Dakota. We have 4 training centers throughout the state of Minnesota. These training centers are owned and run by the Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee, also known as the JATC. The JATC is the Board of Equal Representation between union and our Contractors Association. In August of 2015, Local 10 bought a property in Haven Hills Township, just outside of Rochester, Minnesota, to be a training center for our southern Minnesota area. Our southern Minnesota area includes 26 counties. Our program in southern Minnesota has been in existence for over 50 years. It has grown over the years, and we believe it will continue to grow in the coming years. This year alone, we have 45 apprentices that are enrolled into our apprenticeship program down in southern Minnesota. The training center is 4,000 square feet, sits on 3 acres of land. It has previously been a school for more than 50 years. Originally, it was owned by the public school district, sold to a private school, and we purchased it from them a little bit ago. We are here to support Senate File 774. Our training center meets all the exemptions in the current law, except for the township population exemption. The current exemption has a minimum threshold of 2,000. We support this being lowered to 1,400. I'll here for any questions if anybody.
I just, maybe you mentioned this, I've been looking at papers and shuffling things around here. And I'm sorry, your name was, again, sir?
Pete Paris with the
Pete Paris?
Yep.
Thank you. So the building's been in Haverhill the whole time?
Yes, it has.
How many years?
Rough about 1965. The school board made it a school, and about 15, or now about 17 years ago, they sold it to the Seventh-day Adventists. They used it for a school, so it's never been on the tax rolls the whole time.
Okay, so the building's been there, and you've been using it as an apprenticeship program?
For about the last, this is our 2nd year.
Okay, so the building's never been on the roll. You're just putting it on the roll now. It's not that the population of the town fell, it's just that you just got it and.
Correct, correct.
All right.
It's never met, Mr. Chair, it's never met the qualifications. The township's always been under 2,000 residents, and the township is just north of Rochester and is slowly getting incorporated into Rochester.
All right, thank you. Members, any questions for the testifier, Senator Nelson?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Senator Nelson.
I just want to clarify that we're just increasing or decreasing what is the exemption in current law. So current law states that the township must have a population between 2,000 and 3,000 to have this property tax exempt and have been a school and all the other qualifiers I read. We are just in this bill seeking to change the one qualifier, which is that the township threshold be lowered so that to 1,400.
Nope, yeah, I
So
saw
this
that.
will qualify.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you,
Thank
Senator
you.
Nelson. Anything else you want to add? Otherwise, looks like we're good here. Senator, what? Oh, Ms. Pollack has an answer to our K-12 credit.
Mr. Chair and members, I was just able to pull up the tax expenditure budget. So the credit was enacted in 1997, effective beginning in tax year 98. The rate was 100% at that time. And as I mentioned, it was allowed for taxpayers with income of $33,500 or less, and that amount, again, has not changed. In 2001, the credit was reduced from 100% to 75% of expenses, which it is now. And then the credit maximum and the phase-out range were increased for taxpayers with more than 2 children in 2005. And so there have been no further changes since then.
Thank you, Ms. Pollack. That's a good history. So, no other comments, then Senate File 774 is also laid over for possible conclusion. Thank you, Senator Nelson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Testifier.
Chair and committee.
Next up is Senate File 1166, Senator Eichhorn.
Morning.
Good morning, Senator Eichen. So do you have any amendments?
No amendments today, Mr. Chair.
And what is it you're bringing today?
What's that?
What is it you're bringing today?
Senate File 1166. It is broadband subscription services and expenses credit. What it would do is it would add $25 per month of broadband subscription services to allow a family with kids in K through 12 to be able to deduct that on their taxes. It also removes the $200 limit on computer hardware and software purchases for the eligible credit, but families would still be subject to the overall cap under the current law. And it does have a fiscal note with it, and in that fiscal note, I do notice that it would certainly help families in the lower income category. So this is something I think is beneficial, and I have a lot of families in my district that fall under this category, and it would be very beneficial for them to be able to have broadband services at home for their kids in K through 12. And I do have a testifier with me today, and I'm going to turn it over to him for a little more detail on it.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record, and if it's complicated, please spell it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Brent Christensen. I'm the president and CEO of the Minnesota Telecom Alliance, and we're a trade association that represents 44 independent broadband providers that cover all the corners of the state. We brought this bill forward, and we're looking for your support for this. And while there are state and federal programs that help with the deployment of broadband, there really isn't anything at the state level to assist with the adoption of broadband. Adequate broadband for schools is important, but equally important is access to broadband at home for students. This can be an issue, particularly in low-income families. And we've all heard stories about kids having to do their homework on school buses or even drive to a local McDonald's to pick up a Wi-Fi signal because they don't get internet at home. This bill would expand the list of eligible education deductions to include up to $25 a month for broadband. It does not expand the tax credit per student, and it does not change the eligibility income requirements. We believe this bill would provide additional tool for families to assure their children have educational access to home broadband. We appreciate your opportunity to testify, and I'll keep my comments short this morning. Happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen. Members, any Senator Rest?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senator Eichhorn. I think the part of the bill that expands the eligibility for these expenses to broadband subscription services up to $25 a month, or actually I would support even more than that, but I'm a little bit leery of removing the $200 limit on expenses for the whole category, just to let you know that. I think otherwise it's a good bill and I would support it, but I'm not too keen on just not having any cap whatsoever. Maybe that cap needs to be improved, but to remove it completely, I'm not going to support that.
Thank you, Senator Rest. Senator Icorn, any
Mi-
comment?
Mr. Chair, Senator Rest, they would, families would still be subject to the overall cap. What the $200 does right now, as you know, when you're buying computer equipment, it costs a heck of a lot more than $200. It would allow a family that's maybe, buying computer-type equipment to deduct a little bit more of that, but they would still be subject to the overall cap. And that's, you can see that in the description that we got from the Senate Research and Fiscal Analyst.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Rest?
I'm looking, Senator Icorn, I'm looking at the revenue estimate. Second paragraph, it says, "The bill would remove the $200 limit on expenses for personal computer hardware, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and add broadband subscription services." Is the revenue estimate not reflective of the language of the bill?
Also from them is this sheet, and it would be just one line up.
What sheet
It
is
does say in
that?
their analysis of it that they would still be subject to the overall cap for the credit under current law.
Senator Bach?
I don't get it.
Senator Bach?
I mean,
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at the language of the bill, and
Right.
perhaps council can tell us what it does, but it looks to me like it removes the $200 cap, and I think that's what makes the bill cost so
yeah,
much.
line 2.9,
Maybe council can tell us
puts
what it
a line
actually
to
does.
it.
Senator, Ms. Pollock, please
Mr.
clear this up.
Mr. Chair and members, and I think Mr. Wilms can get into more of the data analysis, but because the bill strikes the $200 limit on computer equipment, for those expenses for computer equipment that could be included in the amount for which you could claim the credit, or by removing that cap, then more amounts of computer equipment could count towards expenses for which the credit is claimed. And so I believe that is where the cost is coming into the revenue estimate.
Senator Gazelka?
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Pollock, so Senator Icorn talked about an overall cap.
Correct.
What is the overall cap?
Mr. Chair,
That's the question. That's the question.
okay, Mr. Chair and members, the credit is 75% of qualifying expenses, up to $1,000.
I see. So if I can just get that clear in my own head then, Senator Icorn. So the overall, the $1,000 stays the same, but within that cap, there's not going to be the $200 limit on personal computer stuff.
That's right.
That's, okay, all right, thank you. No, then I support it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator Rest.
Well,
Senator Bach?
You might
Mr. Chairman, I don't support. I think, Senator Icorn, you could take a lot of cost out of your bill by striking line 2.9 and just making the broadband stuff eligible for the credit. I think there's probably pretty broad agreement on that, but it just makes the bill so expensive. I don't know what Senator Gazelka is going to give this committee for a target, but I expect there's going to be some limitation.
Thank you, Senator Bach. All right.
Just a
any other-
suggestion, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments, questions for Senator Icorn? If not, Senator Icorn, do you have any final comments?
Just to say that, this would, again, would be something that would be very helpful for low and middle income families, and, happy to bring it forward, and I thank you for your time and attention to it today.
Senator Icorn, thank you. Thank you, testifier. I would say perhaps considering that additional amendment, just think about that and where that might be. Maybe you raise it a little bit, maybe keep it the same, but we had to be somewhat aware of costs, but just consider it as we go forward, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Icorn. With that, Senate File 1166 is laid over for conclusion. Thank you. See, we can have fun in this committee. Okay. Next up is Senator Claus and Senate File 165. All right, Senator Clausen, you never fail to impress or disappoint.
Well, Mr. Chair, you need to have data to make good decisions.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Okay, Senator Clausen, do you have any amendments to your bill?
Mr. Chair, I do not have any amendments today.
Well, to your bill, please explain what you have.
Well, good morning and thank you, Chair Chamberlain and committee members, for the opportunity to present Senate File 165. A version of the proposal you are about to hear was in the 2016 tax bill and had bipartisan authors. Senate File 165 outlines a program which would create a student loan refundable income tax credit for Minnesota taxpayers based on their individual income level and amount paid in principal and interest on a qualifying student loan. Senate File 165 creates a tax credit to be deducted from the total amount a taxpayer owes to the state. With this proposal, the credit amount allowed equals the amount of principal and interest paid during the taxable year on a qualified undergraduate or graduate degree educational loan up to $5,000. The credit also applies to parents who have made qualified educational payments on behalf of an eligible individual minor, and that, individual student, former student, minus the amount paid by the individual during the tax year, again, up to $5,000. There are limitations to the tax credit based on income. For an eligible married couple filing a joint return, the maximum credit is reduced by $1 for every $6 of modified adjusted income in excess of $130,000. For all other tax filers, individual filing single or married filing separately, the maximum credit is reduced by $1 for every $3 of modified adjusted gross income in excess of $65,000. If the amount of credit exceeds the taxpayer's tax liability, the state shall refund the excess to the taxpayer, and approximately 338,700 returns would claim this credit in 2016, and the average credit would be $2,147. A little bit of background on this. I think we all agree education has been the means to achieve a better life. It always has been. But unfortunately, this is not true for many of today's higher education graduates. And I'd like to turn the committee's attention to a handout. It's entitled Percentage of Graduates with Debt and Average Debt of Those with Loans. And it's by state, and then it's a listing of all the states in Minnesota and the ranking as far as what the average loan would be, and then it has a ranking attached to it. And you'll note that Minnesota college graduates carry the 6th highest average debt in the nation for a 4-year degree at just under $31,500 per student. The state also has a high percentage of students carrying student loan debt at 70%. Student loan debt has surpassed $1 trillion nationally, with 10% of the borrowers of federally subsidized student loans in default within 2 years of starting repayment. And the one good thing is that Minnesota is below the national average as far as defaulted loans. I believe we need to send a message that higher education is a good investment, and as a state, we are willing to help students to guarantee their future and the future of our state. Senate File 165 allows higher education graduates to purchase homes, make investments, purchase goods and services in the retail market, resulting in increased economic activity. A revenue note has been prepared, and it is in your packet of materials for review. And there are 2 additional handouts. One is cumulative debt, student debt in Minnesota 2012-2014, prepared by the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. And as you can see, the report is an in-depth review of student higher education debt in Minnesota. And then there's also a Star Tribune article dated October 27, 2015, which notes a modest decrease in student debt for Minnesota students. And at this time, Mr. Chair, I'd like to have you hear from our testifiers.
Thank you, Senator Clausen. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record.
Hello, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Danielle Hans.
Danielle Hans?
Yes.
Thank you, Danielle. Go ahead with your testimony.
All right. So I will be reading the written testimony of two people. The first one will be from my sister, Claire Hans, who couldn't make it today because she's a teacher and couldn't find a substitute. But she's my twin sister, so I'm basically the best understudy ever.
Well, that works out very well then.
It does. Here's her letter. Dear committee members, I started college at the University of Minnesota when I was 17 and went on to earn a bachelor's and master's degree. I have always been a straight-A student from grade school to grad school. By the time I was 22, I had my master's degree, my teaching license, and had started my career. I am now 28, and let me tell you, I am a good teacher. What I'm trying to say is I did everything right. I'm proud of my degrees, but they came at a high cost. By the end of my education, I had 18 different state and federal loans totaling $71,600. $71,600. But getting an education was what my teachers, my parents, our society encouraged me to do. Education is priceless after all. Now, as an educator myself, burdened with these tens of thousands of dollars of debt, I am not so sure. This burden of debt has weighed heavily on me in the last 6 years. I'd like to buy a house someday, but I can barely afford my little studio apartment in a 100-year-old building that has had 5 gas leaks in the past summer. I know I need new tires for my used car that I drive 25 miles to work with, but I keep putting it off because I don't have $700 to spare. All this despite the fact that I work second and third jobs over the summer at the Children's Hospital and teaching summer classes. I don't even have a savings account. So I have had to ask my parents for money, who are close to retirement age but far from being able to retire. I have a little sister who is 18 and starting college soon. It's hard to imagine a positive future when I know that my parents will need to be taken care of as they age, but neither myself, my sisters, or my parents will have enough money saved to do anything about it. On a bigger scale, I worry about our state. If my well-educated, underemployed, indebted generation isn't buying houses, cars, or even car tires, what will happen to our economy? What will Minnesota look like for my students when they graduate in 2026, the year that I will hopefully have my student loans paid off? I urge lawmakers to pass Senate File 165 for the sake of my parents, my sisters, my students, and myself. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Danielle. Next up.
I have one more. I have one more letter to read, Mr. Chair, if that's all right.
Thank you, Ms. Hans.
This letter is from my friend Sarah Cinderbrand. My name is Sarah Cinderbrand. I live in St. Paul, but I was born and raised in Rochester, and my parents told me growing up that I had to go to college, that college was the key to a good job and a middle-class life. I hold degrees from 2 fine institutions of higher education in our great state, a bachelor's degree from St. Olaf College and a master's degree from the University of Minnesota. I paid for college the way many Minnesotans pay for college, earned some scholarships, awarded some grants, worked a few part-time jobs, sometimes concurrently, and took out a lot of student loans. And my parents were right, mostly. The degrees have enabled me to get a good job with decent salary, but the degrees did not bring the economic security that my family needs. Because I have $65,206.11 left in student loan debt. That's more than I earn in a year. My monthly payments are over $700, and that's on the income-based repayment plan. If I were on the standard repayment plan, my payments would be over $800 a month. After our mortgage, my student loans are the biggest expense my family faces each month. After our mortgage, my student loans are the cost that we have to plan all of our other expenses around. Each month it feels like it's all we can do just to manage to make the payment, and then next month we have to figure it out all over again. I know there are things my family wants, and even some things that my family needs that we cannot afford because of my student loan payments, and it makes me feel guilty, and it frustrates me. I always knew that I would have to pay back what I borrowed. I knew that just as earning those degrees was hard work, paying for them would be hard work too. But I never dreamed that my payments would be set this high for this long. I turn 34 next week. According to my repayment plan, I'll still be making these payments into my 40s. And there's nothing I can do about it at this point except keep trying to make the payments. A refundable tax credit would be a strong boost to Minnesota families like mine. So many Minnesota families carry student loan debt, from new graduates to longtime borrowers to parents who took out loans for their children's education. We took out these loans because we believed that a college education was the key to a good job and a bright future. And we're working hard. We're trying to keep up, but we're struggling. Providing this support will help to stabilize Minnesota families trying our hardest to manage student loan debt. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hans. Testifier, please state your name for the record. Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Barbara Batiste. I'm Director of the Legislative Office on the Economic Status of Women. This is a nonpartisan office. It's part of the Legislative Coordinating Commission, been around since 1976. I haven't, but it has. Its statutory mandate is to study women's economic issues and report to the legislature on that, advise the legislators on that. When I started this position a little over 3 years ago, in the first session, I realized that women from Greater Minnesota were not often at committee hearings because, understandably, it's so difficult for them to get here. So I started traveling around Greater Minnesota in the interim, having informal listening sessions where I simply say, what's working economically for you? What are successes? What are challenges? And then I always end by saying, what are the priority women's economic barriers to economic security in your area? I've been to 21 communities now, and student loan debt has emerged as a major problem. And I really thank Senator Clausen for giving me an opportunity just to tell you what some of the women in Greater Minnesota are saying about this. And these are a few quotes. This is from a woman in Grand Marais. I'm struggling with student loans. I'm a homeowner with no running water, $600 for housing, $600 in student loans. I've barely dented my loan principal. I have one full-time and two part-time jobs. Some days a wiser choice would be not to get a college education. This woman is 32 years old. She started paying on her student loans when she was 24. She's determined she will finish paying her student loans when she's 48. And she has take-home pay of $2,500 a month, and $600 of that is student loans. A reason she doesn't have running water, which I guess it's common in Grand Marais that you have to have the septic system for running water, and she can't be approved for a loan for the septic system because of her student debt. 2 freshmen at St. Cloud State this year said, one said, student loan, I don't want to think about it. I get chest pains thinking about it. It's a big deal. The other one said, I'm a freshman. My parents are still paying off the student loans. For now, that's my biggest thing. And then the last quote is from a woman in Austin. She was in her early 30s, an attorney. Student debt has impacted my choices and standard of living tremendously. I've delayed home ownership and starting a family. In fact, I left the legal profession because I couldn't afford to go solo without a safety net. And perhaps the saddest statement I've heard from a number of women who are in their late 20s up to mid-30s is that they believe they will never be able to afford to have a family because of the financial burden of their student loans. I especially support that this bill does not limit the relief to recent college grads. The Greater Minnesota that I've heard from are often far from recent grads. They've been out of college for 5, 10 or more years and are still struggling with student debt, and know they will for many years in the future. And one last point I'd like to make is the increasing incidence of older people who have significant student debt. Nationally, persons who are age 65 and older owed $18.2 billion in student debt in 2013. About 80% of this debt comes from their own college loans, the lingering debt from there, but the remaining 20% comes from what's a growing occurrence of older people taking on student loans for their children or grandchildren. And as I'm sure you know, if a person defaults on federal student loans, her Social Security payments can be garnished. Thank you.
Thank you, testifier. I have a question. Is there a typo on this fiscal note? Is that $727 million for 1 year?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, all right. Members, any Senator Rest, Gazelka, and Bach?
Here, Senator Miller's bill too, and I think, just thinking why it's important to look at Senator Clausen's bill that includes parents as well as the students is the enormity of the debt. Now, Senator Miller has the bill that was in the tax bill last year, and we scaled that down. It was Senator Clausen's bill then to just the students, because that's where we felt like we could include it in a reasonable way, rather than almost $1 billion in tax relief. But I think that the point of this bill, the full bore of this bill, is just shocking at how much student debt there is out there that is being experienced by Minnesota families. And then to both Senator Clausen and Senator Miller, Senator Clausen and Senator Miller are the co-chairs of the Purple Caucus. And yet, they bring us, Senator Clausen's bill has 5 Democrats on it. Senator Miller's bill has 5 Republicans. If the chair of the Rules Committee would allow a bill to have 10 authors, well, then maybe we could have a bipartisan effort here. And I, for one, in order to make Senator Clausen's bill bipartisan, will take my name off, and I hope Senator Miller, in the spirit of the Purple Caucus, you might be willing to go on his bill. And maybe you could find a similar Republican who would make the same gesture.
Senator Miller, would you care to comment on that?
Otherwise, if we
$1.4
could have the
billion
bills
swing?
together, then we could have a real discussion.
All right. Senator Miller, would you respond to that? Then I got
Senator
Gazelka
Rest,
and Bach.
Senator Clausen and I were working on a joint effort. We wanted as many Democrats and Republicans on both these bills as possible. So we figure that it is a bipartisan effort, since it is the proposal is so similar. And I do have concerns. I share Senator Clausen's desire to do this, and the next bill will show that. But I do have concerns about the overall cost on Senator Clausen's bill.
It's only $1 billion gap. I'm sure you could find a way. Senator Gazelka?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll leave that discussion between Senator Rest and Senator Miller, and I'm all for the kumbaya, just like Senator Bach said on the floor a day or two. I like that word. But to the testifier, most recent testifier, I mean, without a doubt, this is a major problem. And in some regards, we have failed the students. We promised them something and we didn't deliver, and they have these debts. And I have 5 kids, 4 have gone through the system, 1 is about ready. And my own philosophy has changed with our now 15-year-old. When she talks about going to school, I said, what, and a particular degree, I say, well, what job are you looking for at the end? Because I want there to be a connection. And I've even heard that from some of the people that have come into my office to talk about higher ed, and even they are now recognizing that. But we have a whole group of people that have this huge debt. And one of the things that I did have a question that you talked about related to Social Security, because I'm curious about, what percentage is defaulting now, because the weight of these are so huge. So if you have that, what percentage roughly, and then clarify the Social Security issue, because that's a big deal.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I do not have that at my fingertips. However, I do have, there was a GAO study on it and a report, which I will be happy to get immediately to this committee. I'm sorry I don't have that right here, but it has the default figures and more information on the Social Security. And excuse me, Senator Gazelka, you're right, it's a very big deal, and especially for older women who tend to be in poverty and they rely upon Social Security, so it's a very big deal.
Thank
I would
you.
appreciate that information.
Mr. Chair and Senator Gazelka,
Clausen?
in that report that you have from the Office of Higher Education, there's some information, but on a national scale, there's about a 10% default on student loans. Now, Minnesota is below that, and that's a good thing. I think you've heard some testimony, some people that have student loans that are committed to paying them back. They understand that they have a commitment to doing that. And I think that's a very positive thing, but you also heard the effect that it's having on people. And Mr. Chair, I know that there are a couple people here that would like to testify as well.
Well,
Do you have time?
Senator Clausen, we have a couple more bills, and I think we understand the point regarding what we're trying to get at here, but we'll consider that. First, Senator Bach, question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at the bill. Maybe council can help me. I think the reason this gets so expensive is allowing the parent to take the additional tax credit. So I'm wondering, maybe council can tell me, does the individual, is there any requirement the individual be a dependent of the parent or not?
Ms. Pollack?
Mr. Chair and Senator Bach, no. The idea and the requirement is that the parent must have taken out the loan on behalf of the child who may no longer be a dependent and is still paying off the loan.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's why it gets so expensive. And I just will say on my own situation, if my sons who are 37 and 38 still had college debt, I don't think I should be getting a tax credit.
Thank you, Senator Bach.
Well, they don't have the debt, so I'm not gonna, even if this passes, but, the fact of life is we gotta figure out, this is a really important issue, and we should be trying to help students with it that are carrying this debt, but the fiscal note makes it unrealistic, so unless people find a way to pare it down like was done in last year's tax bill, nothing will happen. So, but Senator Clausen, thanks for bringing, and Senator Miller, thanks for bringing this issue to the committee. It was important last year. That's why it was included in the omnibus tax bill, and I hope we can fit some version of this into this year's bills.
Thank you, Senator Bach. Senator Dietzick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to thank Senator Clausen and Senator Miller for bringing these forward. We did have a good discussion last year and did pare it down because we realized there is this huge debt out there. I hear more, the sheet handout that Senator Clausen passed out talks about 30,000 debt being the average, and I hear more stories representing Augsburg and the Minneapolis campus of the University of Minnesota. I hear more stories similar to what the young lady presented, where it's 65 to 75,000 in debt, and people are, it is impacting what job they take, where they live, if they buy a car, if they can fix up their car to the point where it could be a safety issue. So I am sympathetic to that. I also last year, just out of curiosity, wondered how much would it cost, or get a rough estimate of what would the cost be if we just went to free tuition, at least in certain campuses. And the very quick behind-the-napkin number that higher ed gave me was $800 million. So that kind of shows you there's almost $800 million of debt out there, and then if going forward, it'd be $800 million for free tuition. So that kind of matches and pairs up. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Dietzick. All we got to do is go shake that money tree, which would be your taxpayers. And we'll talk about that more as the weeks go on. Senator Clausen, any final comments about this bill? I know you got two testifiers, but I think we understand where we're at with this. You've done a good job. Testifiers been great at this. And there was conversation last year about it as well.
Well, Mr. Chair, certainly open to scaling this back. There's no question about that. I understand that, but also wanted to look at the bigger picture and what the impact is. As I mentioned earlier, we've sent a message to young people that the route to a better life is through education attainment. And I think we still believe that. We know that by 2020, 70% of the jobs in Minnesota are going to require some type of a degree or license, so that means higher education. And if that's a requirement that we know is needed for our state, I think we have to make sure that we are contributing as a legislature and as a state to make sure that promise is kept and that we move ahead as a state. So, thank you,
Senator Clausen. I will add that, these fiscal notes don't come out until just, maybe 12 hours before we get committee. And honestly, if I had seen a fiscal note of $1.4 billion for this, we wouldn't have heard it. This was, frankly, we have a bill that we could talk about and be honest about. This was simply not an honest attempt to discuss this issue. It was just not the right way to do this and take the committee's time. If I had this fiscal note, we wouldn't have heard this, because this is not a serious consideration. We go at these things in a serious way. This was not a time well spent. I appreciate the testifiers coming up. You have good stories. This is a serious problem, but this bill at $1.4 billion for a biennium was not the way to approach it. Serious problem. There's a serious way to approach it, and this wasn't the way to do it. With that, Senate File 165 will be held over for possible conclusion. Thank you. Up next is Senator Miller, 941. Thank you, Senator Miller.
Thank you,
Welcome to the other
Mr.
side of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Senate File 941 is a scaled-back version of Senate File 165, the bill that we just heard. And I think what Senate File 165 did for us is really helps us see how important this issue is and the magnitude of that issue. This proposal, Senate File 941, would allow an individual income tax credit of up to $1,000 for individuals and up to $2,000 for married couples filing jointly. And there are some different percentage requirements that are eligible. So a credit is up to 75% for individuals in education professions, 65% for those in public service jobs other than education, and 50% for other eligible individuals. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, sometimes we don't get the fiscal note till shortly before the hearing, and I was a little surprised when I received this fiscal note. This language was in last year's tax bill that passed with strong bipartisan support. The fiscal note that I've been working off of was the fiscal note from last year, and that showed a cost in 2018 of $37.3 million and $38.1 million in 2019. And the fiscal note that I received yesterday is significantly higher, $60 million in 18, $62.1 million in 2019. So I have not had an opportunity to speak to the Department of Revenue why the fiscal note is so much more expensive yesterday's fiscal note compared to 8 months ago or whenever we received the last fiscal note. So I am going to have that conversation with the Minnesota Department of Revenue. I don't need to go into the testimony on how important this issue is, other than it's a really important issue. It's a bipartisan issue here in the legislature, and we need to do something to address the high levels of debt as a result of student loans.
Thank you, Senator Miller. Yeah, the language I understand is the same as last year. I understand they were trying to get it to work better last year. Mr. Wilms had some comments, I think, towards a fiscal note.
Mr. Chair and committee members, Senator Miller's right in terms of, the language being identical and the numbers on the bill coming back different than what they were carried by approximately $26 million or $22 million per year. I spoke with Dr. Wilson from the Tax Research Division at the Department of Revenue because this came as a surprise to many of us. And what he communicated to me was that from the time the bill was included in the conference committee report and being adopted, they had more time to do more research over the interim and create a better data set and a better sample for this. And so from time to time, the department will revise it based on new and better information is the term of art. And sometimes that can make the bill cheaper and sometimes it makes it more expensive. But I think there's still more questions that we have. And so I'm happy to work with Senator Miller to ask those questions.
Okay. Thank you. Senator Rest?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to your comment, first of all, to Senator Clausen, we heard Social Security bills that cost $1 billion. So, hey, it's half of one, sixth of whatever that phrase is. But you know, it is scalable. And whether it's additional information or whatever, it's gone up $20 million, which is another reason why we should have passed the vetoed bill and taken the lower number and gone on from there. And after that, it would have been a tax expenditure, and we, quote, wouldn't have had to pay for it. But not being able to come together and repass the vetoed bill at any point since last May, at least in this instance, in your bill, cost an extra $20 million. So I think we might see that in some of the other provisions that were in the vetoed bill that were, again, you mentioned, Senator Miller, on a bipartisan basis where it was embraced. And just, I think, is a lesson about working together and with the governor and commitment to making this bill, and of course it was not our error, it was a House error, but making this bill this year error-free. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair and Senator Rest, I'm with you every step of the way there. I wish we would have got that tax bill done last year. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, and I'm not going to point any fingers or say why it did or didn't happen, but we're here now, and we have an opportunity to get this done for people in the state of Minnesota. Student loan debt is an incredibly important issue, and I'm committed to working with you, Mr. Chair, and the committee, as well as Senator Clausen in the governor's office to try to get this done this year.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Miller. Members, any more questions, comments? Thank you very much. Again, Senator Franzen.
Not a question, Mr. Chair, but quick comment. You know, I think Senator Miller and myself are probably the youngest on this committee, and frankly, I'm still paying my student debt, and I did my master's and my law degree and my undergrad, and I still am paying those student loans. Maybe some of you are still paying your loans. I'm generalizing here, but it's a reality. It's an issue. We know we're going to have a gap of workforce and labor in Minnesota. We need our young professionals to graduate, and we were just chatting here amongst ourselves that a bachelor's degree is no longer, you know, it's the entry level in terms of getting a good position of certainly the trades have their purpose and there are great ways to also increase income, but we need our youth to get through the education system to higher ed. So this is really important, and says if we want them to go ahead more than just a bachelor's degree, it's just going to be a bigger and bigger problem. We're not going to get those students to pursue master's degree, doctor's degree that we surely need in Minnesota to take those professional jobs that our chambers of commerce are telling us that are going to have those huge labor gaps in the future. So we need to do this sooner. So I hope we do find a way to start dealing with this issue this session. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I have one brief comment then to Senator Bach to close it out. There's more than one way to skin this proverbial cat. It's not just with tax reductions. We have to get to the heart of the problem. The heart of the problem is runaway costs that are not controlled by us. The costs are controlled by competition and subsidies out there that are already propping up these programs and having shoved a lot of kids into four-year programs that didn't need them. So there's a lot of ways to go at this thing instead of just tax cuts. And the fact of the matter is, we're going to run out of money real fast come 2020. Everybody in this committee and most of the people in this room know what's facing us over the hill. And if we don't prepare for that, we're going to have a lot of trouble. There's not going to be any money for higher ed or for our seniors. So to sit here and pretend we can just pay for everybody's college, I submit is not the way to do it. We have to be smart and adults about how we address this. This is not a silver bullet. This is not the best way to do it, but it is important we can offer some relief. We're not going to solve the higher ed cost problem sitting in the tax committee. With that, I'll be quiet. Senator Bach.
Well, Mr. Chairman, let me help you reduce expectations a little bit. Senator Miller, let me just suggest that you have Department of Revenue rescore the bill as a non-refundable tax credit. I've always kind of struggled with refundable credits because they get really, really expensive. But to the extent we can provide help, to the extent that people have tax liability, we can help a lot more people and we can actually accomplish some things. So that's just my suggestion, Mr. Chairman, on all of these things that are refundable. You know, let's help people to the extent they have tax liability, and we can help a larger group of people.
Thank you, Senator Bach. Point well taken. It is an ongoing concern.
Mr. Chair and Senator Bach will do that. Thank you.
Senator Miller, any final comments? Again, these are, it's a good issue to address. I'm glad we're talking about it. There's a lot of ways to get at this, and thank you for bringing it back. And Senator Clausen, thank you for the discussion as it was. So Senator Miller, any closing comments?
Mr. Chair and members, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Senator Miller. With that, Senate File 941 is held over for possible inclusion. Thank you. Next up is Senate File, Mr. Pratt, Senator Pratt, 524. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then.
Welcome to the other side of the committee, Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to be here.
You have an amendment. I see an author's amendment.
I do, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A1 author's amendment, please.
Okay, Senator Pratt moves the A1. Members, any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. A1's adopted, and that's now in the form you want it.
Thank you, Mr.
To your
Chair.
bill.
Mr. Chair and committee, Senate File 524 is a provision that was in last year's vetoed tax bill.
It's coming down to your head, Senator Pratt.
It was part of the vetoed tax bill. And, boy, that's throws you off your game, doesn't it? And it simply allows a $2,500 tax credit for a qualified teacher who completes a master's degree in a taxable year. The tax credit is available one time for each master's program completed in a core content area. And what the amendment did was it clarified what a core content area is, and it also brought the definition of a qualified teacher in line with current statute. A study by the Center for American Progress found that teachers were more effective after they completed a master's degree in their content area. This is particularly true in the math and science content areas. And generally, if you know more about your subject, you should be a better teacher. But this is even more important now than it was last year when we brought this forward, because the Higher Learning Commission, which is the accrediting body for many of our institutions, the University, MnSCU, and many of our private colleges, came down with that they're going to start enforcing that teachers who teach concurrent enrollment classes in our high school, known as college into schools or senior to sophomore, must have a master's degree in their content area in order to be qualified to teach these. As we were talking about the cost of higher education, I can tell you that the districts or the school districts in my county have saved students millions of dollars in tuition costs because they were able to complete their credits in high school rather than taking them at the university. And were able to stay in high school rather than going out and traveling for PSEO. So the Higher Learning Commission says that our teachers need to have these masters in their content area by 2022, and we're hoping this will encourage more of our teachers to seek out those master's degree and keep our concurrent enrollment programs in Minnesota strong and healthy and viable. Mr. Chair, that's all I have for you. No testing for fires.
Thank you, Senator Pratt. Members, any questions, comments? So, Senator Pratt, you just, if I read this right, you're just extending it to the pre-K area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm on the what? Okay, never mind. Okay. All right, Senator Pratt. See no other questions or comments. Senate file. Well, you're right. I'm on 947. Senate file 5. Senate
I was
file
going to
5.
say, I knew we did the qualified teacher. And
Senate file 524 is laid over for possible inclusion. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thanks. As amended. Oh, I got distracted.
Sorry, I didn't put the key.
No, I got distracted here. Here's this 524. That's right.
Now you're on 947.
All right, we're back on target here. Okay, Senator Anderson, welcome to the committee. Do you have any with Senate File 524 now?
947.
947.
Mr. Chair.
All right, let's back up. We have Senate File. We have Senate
This is
File
gonna be- this is gonna
947.
be
Senator
quick, Mr.
Anderson
Chair.
is at the testifiers table with Senate File 947. which I also have in front of me.
Great.
Do you have any amendments, Senator Anderson?
I do not, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So please proceed with your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, hopefully this will be pretty straightforward and relatively painless. Senate File 947 amends the education tax credit and deduction currently applied to kindergarten through 12th grade to include pre-kindergarten expenditures as well. As preschools and early childhood development programs are offering the critical educational opportunities and programs to prepare kids and get them ready for kindergarten, Senate File 947 simply extends that credit and deduction to those expenses and defines what pre-kindergarten education programs would qualify.
Thank you. Members, any questions for Senator Pratt? Senator Anderson? Whoa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's a great compliment, Mr. Chair.
Senator Anderson, thank you. So your bill simply extends the existing to the pre-K. Okay.
That's correct.
Seeing no questions, members, no comments, then Senate File 947 will be laid over for possible inclusion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oof. Okay, members. Any other business members, any other comments? If not, we'll see you Tuesday, and we are adjourned. Thank you.